little recording. So welcome everyone to the first class of the Biblical Foundation, which is the incredible book named Genesis, which is also the book of beginnings, the book of all beginnings. It's one of my very favorite books in the Bible. It is truly amazing, and a careful study of it explains almost everything. All of human history is either in or foreshadowed, foretold. Even relations between men and women are completely explained. Our relationship to God is explained. In Genesis alone, it's almost a Bible by itself. So a careful study together just turns it into one of the most important and blessings-filled books of our beloved Bible. So let's start with the very first verse. So Joyce, can you start with Genesis 1:1 in English, please?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Beautiful. And who would like to give that in Portuguese from our darling Dutch couple?
No princípio, criou Deus os céus e a terra.
Beautiful. So Camila, the only Portuguese we do is we repeat the verses. So there's no misunderstanding of the word of God. So sometimes we break into Portuguese, but we try. The only Portuguese is the Bible verse. Beautiful. Any suggestions for Joyce?
Cells.
So it's that accent. It's that accent. Very good.
It's very good, Joyce.
Okay.
Deus.
Okay, so Johan, can you please read question? In today's class, we'll have a lot of questions and a lot of difficult questions. So bear with us. I don't expect you to know all the answers. I don't know all the answers, but we can look at the potential answers together. So Johan, can you please say question 1 in English?
Do any other religions give a first-hand account of the universe's creation?
All right, what do you think? I don't expect all of you to read all the other religious books. All right, but do you think that they explain anywhere like the Bible explains?
No.
Not the correct way.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the correct answer, none. So not a first-hand. So first-hand is the person who was there, explains and describes it. So Camila, can you please read question 2 in English? Question 2 that starts with what does?
What does in the beginning imply?
Beautifully pronounced. Congratulations. Okay, so here we are. It's in the first word of the Bible and the first verse and the first 3 words of all of our most sacred word is in the beginning. All right. So what does in the beginning imply?
At the start.
Okay, and it doesn't just imply, it's saying it is at the start. So this question is a little more subtle. It's implying something. And I'll give you a hint. Go ahead, Emily.
The beginning of time.
Yes, and it's not, again, it's declaring that. I'm going to give you a hint. If there is a beginning, then there is
And then?
there. Thank you. Okay, so that's what it's implying. So if God's first words are in the beginning, the implication is, okay, so, we're not talking about forever time in the beginning, then there is an end. So some say that this is the Bible's first prophecy. It implies there is an ending. Okay, and there is an ending to time and history as we know it. So wow, all in the first 3 words. But we're not done with this. We're going to stay in the first verse for a while. So Emily, can you please say or read question 3 in English?
It is a declaratory statement. Why is no proof offered here?
Okay, for those who know me, I say the Bible is full of proof. Okay, it's not just that we have to take a leap of faith in the dark. No, it offers plenty of proof. But this is like, it doesn't say, God is this and I'll prove it to you. It just says, in the beginning, boom, God. Why is no proof offered here? Any ideas? Well, go ahead, Emily. Yeah?
It's the truth.
Yep, absolutely. It's the truth. But I'm asking, yeah, and that's actually, I think that gets to what I want to imply, and that is when this was written, either by God, recorded by Moses, or written by Moses, no one doubted God then. Okay, so everyone believed in God. It's only today that people want proof of God. Okay, so just to remember, things were a little bit different back then. When the Bible was first being recorded, things were a little different. So let's go to Monica. Can you please read question 4?
Okay. How is the Trinity forest I don't know,
Foreshadowed.
foreshadowed in this verse alone?
Very nice. So do you understand what foreshadowed means? For is like before. So like, and then shadow, it's an interesting verb because shadow is normally like the sun and a shadow, but a foreshadow is a little bit different. And that is, it's implying, showing, giving an idea of something before it happens. So this is, how is the Trinity foreshadowed, implied in this verse alone? Just verse 1.
Time, space, and matter.
Excellent. And I was hoping our scientists would know, and that's, and you're ahead of us. I would say, first of all, that there are 3 elements. And we'll get to those 3 elements, but there's God say in a time, and he created the heaven and earth, 3 elements, and then you've just answered question 5. So Joyce, can you please read question 5?
Put another way, how does the verse establish the 3-part universe?
Okay, and we pronounce that usually tripart. Very
Tripart.
close. Maybe in Britain they say tripart. But American English, we go tripart. Okay, so Emily already answered. So which is which? Where, can you tell me where is time in this verse?
The beginning,
Absolutely. And then where is space?
heaven.
Absolutely. And then where's matter?
I don't know.
Earth.
That was a
Okay.
joke.
I didn't hear it. What did you say? The joke?
I don't know.
I don't believe you. Okay, so there it
It
is.
was a very earthly joke. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you very much. So there it is. Can you believe it? There's a tripart universe implied here. Okay, so let's go to Johan. Can you read question 6, please?
Does any other explanation of origins start with the creator?
Again, what do you think? I don't expect anyone to read all the religious books, all 7, 8 global. Probably if I ask the question, there's a simple answer.
Do you include evolution?
That's very subtle.
It's religion.
And even then, and you're right, there's an explanation of origins. One would say the religion of evolution is included, but it doesn't necessarily, so you can include that. So does evolution actually explain the real start or origin of origins? Let's break to Portuguese. Cristiane, Bem-vinda, boa noite, tudo bem?
Olá, boa noite.
Como vai?
Desculpa o atraso, boa
Oh,
noite.
imagina, que honra que
Meu
você...
computador travou.
Sem problema, que honra que você está. E estou vendo já seu pai, pastor Valdir, na sua cara. Então,
Muito
super
obrigada.
bem-vinda. E só para você
Obrigada.
saber, eu vou só explicar. Então, ó, Johan e Joyce são missionários na Holanda que passaram um ano no Brasil com gente e sobreviveram um ano com a gente. E antes de você, temos 3 gauchas, então, do Rio Grande do Sul,
Olá.
e são craques seguidores de Jesus também. Cristiane mora em São João do Rei, então mais um mineiro, porque eu sou mineiro, por favor.
Muito
Ok.
obrigada pela recepção.
Ó,
E vai ser ótimo.
Que ótimo, que honra receber você. E Cristiane, em geral, se você receber o PDF, ótimo, ok, você já está craque. Então, onde estamos? E pergunta 7. Então, por favor, segue. Em geral, a gente vai falar somente em inglês. Mas, claro, se você não entende, pode... Mas, em geral, a gente só tenta de falar em inglês e fazer imersão total. Ok? Seja bem...
Muito obrigada.
Ok, nem precisa falar uma palavra em inglês se você não quiser, mas vou pedir em seguida, fazendo um rodízio, para cada pessoa ler alguma coisa em inglês, para eu poder ajudar como pronúncio, tá? Se você quiser, não precisa, mas se você...
Eu tô com a Bíblia em português.
Linda, ok, ótimo, ok.
Tá?
Então, onde
Na próxima eu
estamos...
organizo.
Ok, que bom. Ok. Então, estamos no primeiro versículo da Bíblia. Você chegou na aula no primeiro dia do curso novo. Então, Deus arrumou tudo para você, tá?
Muito obrigada. Desculpa interromper. Pode
Não,
continuar, tá?
imagina. So let's return to question 7. No, 6.
Ok.
So does any other explanation of origin start with the creator?
No?
Not really. Not even evolution. Okay. And so then after that was Joy. So Camila, can you please read question 7 in English? Question 7.
That is the most common start to other origin stories.
Very nice. The first word is what. I think you said
What?
that, but it's what? What?
What is
Very excellent. Okay, what do you think? What is the most common start to other origin stories?
what's the meaning common?
Oh, excellent. An excellent question, Camila. So what do you think? There's a word in Portuguese that's very close. They're both from Latin. A very close word in Portuguese. What does common sound like?
Comum?
Yes. Okay. All right. About half of English words are from Latin, and so they're often very close to the Portuguese word. Sometimes it's just a different pronunciation. The other half of English words are Anglo-Saxon, and they are more difficult for Brazilians because it's not Latin. It's more like German. Okay, so what is the most common start to other origin stories? Any ideas? I'll give you a hint. It's what we are experiencing around the world right now. Chaos. Chaos. Okay. Chaos. Okay. Chaos in Brazil, chaos in the United States, chaos in Holland. Okay. So, and chaos is another word which is almost exactly like the word in Portuguese.
Caos.
Hey, there you go. Pronounce it a little differently, and there you got the Portuguese. Okay, so most other origin stories start with chaos. So let's go to question 8, and that was Camila. And so Emily, can you please read question 8?
Have scientific laws since confirmed Genesis 1:1?
Okay, and this was the correct question for the correct person, our resident scientist. What do you think? Have scientific laws confirmed Genesis 1:1? And I said, there's no proof. There is proof. Do you think so, Emily? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
The first and second laws of
Oh,
thermodynamics.
all right. We're getting there.
Okay. Sorry.
Just a simple yes or no, and now we'll get there. We'll get there. So, Monica, can you please read question 9 in English?
Okay. What is the most basic and clearest law to confirm it?
Excellent. Confirm it.
Confirm
Okay,
it.
this is a tough one. I think we're going to need Emily, Joyce, Johan's help. It's a simple law, but it's a very basic and clear scientific law. Any ideas? It's not those complicated ones that Emily was starting to refer to. Any idea? Okay, it's the law of, okay, it's the law of causality. So Emily and others might remember, but that the that law says that the cause has to be greater than the effect. It kind of makes sense. So you think for a woman to create a baby, the woman has to be bigger than the baby. Okay, it's difficult. The baby's bigger than the woman. No, it won't come out of the woman. So that's a very simple, and this is the same thing. For anything to be created, the cause of something has to be bigger and more complicated than the effect. And this already implies what? We have the most wonderful and extremely complex universe. Do we think that that could be created by a simple organism or a simple pagan god? So no. All right, it has to be something infinitely huge to create this infinitely beautiful universe. Okay, so I'm sorry to all the secular and other, agnostic, scientific, worldly friends. The law of causality, it's obvious. There has to be a creator God. So, Cristiani, can you please read question 10 in English? Question 10 that starts with how does that?
Mhm. How does that law make? How do I say Genesis in English?
Yeah, Genesis, you said it. Very
Genesis.
good. Yeah.
Sorry. How does that law make Genesis the only scientific explanation?
Beautifully pronounced. Thank you. So the only scientific explanation, and we already explained it, but how does that law make Genesis the only scientific explanation? Because the cause is bigger than the effect. Okay, so, okay, now we get to some more, a little more complicated science. Question 11. Joyce, can you please read question 11?
What other scientific laws taken together prove the need for a creator?
Okay. Emily already replied. And again, I don't expect many people to know these. I'm trying to share that our Bible is brilliant. It's full of science. It's full of true science. Okay, so I'm emphasizing scientific proof of the Bible. So Emily, what did you say? Sorry, go ahead, Joyce.
1, 2.
There's actually 2 laws, and what's their general name? And these are other scientific laws. So 2 scientific laws taken together prove the need for a creator. I think Emily mentioned it. Does anyone have an idea? Go for it, Emily. You know the answer.
The first and second law of thermodynamics.
Okay, so there it is. It's thermodynamics. dynamics. Okay, so there's the laws of thermodynamics. And I have to say, I'm not a scientist, but I like reading about the Bible. These are some of the most proven, solid scientific laws, because they vary. Some scientific law, like the law of gravity, has been proven, no doubt whatsoever about the law of gravity. The law of thermodynamics is very close. It's like no doubt about these laws. So let's take a look at what they say. So Johan, can you please read question 12 in English?
How does its second law confirm in the beginning?
Okay. Now, does anyone remember the name for the second law of thermodynamics? There's a familiar name for it. Anyone remember? It's the only one with a short, easy name. The law of entropy. Okay, and entropy is not a common word. It's a scientific word, but think of this: entropy is dissipation. It's a decline. It's a slow death. Okay, so what the law of entropy means is it's the ultimate death of the entire universe, because the second law of thermodynamics says with the law of entropy that everything is dispersing, everything is decreasing in order. It's becoming more and more disordered. And to give an example is the heat death of the universe. So you might remember this from school. It's the most obvious one, that eventually the sun and the universe will burn up. Okay, and that is due to the law of entropy. So nothing is permanent. All right. And so why then, if the law of entropy means the ultimate death of the universe, why does it confirm the first verse when it says in the beginning?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
Yes, because if the law of entropy tells us that everything will die eventually, to put it simply, if creation was a forever event, if it happened, it would all be dead now. Okay, so there has to be a beginning. The second law of thermodynamics, the law of entropy, says there has to be a beginning. It just confirmed the first verse of the Bible. There has to be a beginning. Okay, so the second one is a little more complicated. Bear with me. So Camila, can you please read question 13 in English?
How does its first law require and outside creator?
Excellent, very good pronunciation. Okay, so what do you think? Wow, okay, so the first law, let me help you with the first law. The first law says that within a closed system, no energy is being created or destroyed. It's a little complicated, but the idea is there's no new energy and there's no energy going. It all is just energy transforming. It's not being created and it's not being destroyed in a closed system. Okay, so the universe is a closed system. Now, what this implies is if there's no energy that can be created or can be destroyed, then a self-created universe is impossible. All right, the universe cannot create itself. So it had to be created by something outside of the universe. Oh, okay. So, and here we are. Then let's go to question 14, and that now goes to Emily. So I'm giving the tough questions to Emily. Question 14.
How does Genesis 1:1 resolve the contradiction?
Right, because one of them says that everything is dying, and the other one says there's no new energy coming in or going out. Well, I'll try to resolve it. It's that it had to be created by a power, a creator that's outside the universe. Okay, so there's no new energy coming in. It can't be created inside the universe. Nothing in the universe can create the universe. Only something outside the universe can have created it. And then Monica, can you please read question 15?
Okay. How does the Big Bang theory contradict all their laws?
All three laws.
3 laws.
Yeah. So now we just talked about 3 scientific laws, the law of causality, the first and second law of thermodynamics. And does Big Bang Theory has to work perfectly, right? Because all the world tells you that science knows everything, and science is perfectly logical, and it's a lot more logical than the Bible. And so obviously those 3 laws fit perfectly with the Big Bang, correct? No. Okay, not at all. So any thoughts why? For
The Big
instance,
Bang
go
starts-
ahead, Emily, go ahead.
The Big Bang starts with a very high level of chaos, and then it evolves into less chaos, so that would break the law of entropy. And then it starts spontaneous. It has to have a cause before it, so it also creates this problem.
Mhm.
And I think that's it.
And then who created it? Because remember, the Big Bang Theory has that, the universe started as large as the tip of the pencil. And the energy was so concentrated that it just took something to go boop. Okay, so you really think that something the size of the head of the pencil is bigger than all the universe? I don't think so. And I know I'm explaining it in layman's term, but okay. So there's verse 1. So congratulations, we just discussed the verse 1, the first verse of the Bible, which is an amazing, amazing verse. So yes.
Sorry, can I make a quick comment?
Please.
I think one important thing to know is that the Big Bang works in theory, so in mathematics, but it's important to know that mathematics, it's not reality. So in mathematics, we have perfect conditions and everything works great, but in reality, we don't have that. So I think that's something to study more and to know how to reply to that.
Agreed. And maybe someday, Emily, you're the person who will give us the best response to that. So
Yeah, I'd love to.
yeah, because Emily studies what you like astronomy.
Yes.
So she likes studying the stars. So the Big Bang is a big area in her area of study. Okay, so Cristiani, please read Genesis 1, verse 2 in English, please.
The word was without form, and the void,
Yes.
how do I say, yeah, void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water.
Beautiful, very well read. And I think it's a beautiful verse in English. It's just so nice. I love it so much, I'm going to repeat it. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Okay, it's a very complex, beautiful verse. So let's take a look at it. And that was very nicely done, Cristiani. In Portuguese, Johan, Genesis 1, 2 in Portuguese, please.
E a terra era sem forma, e vazia, e havia trevas sobre a face do abismo, e o Espírito de Deus se movia sobre a face das águas.
Very nice. I think in the first line, you said vazia, or it's vazia. Just a
Vazia.
little more of an, any other suggestions, ladies, to improve Johann's pronunciation?
After vazia é havia.
Havia.
Same thing.
Havia e movia. É.
Yeah, so same thing. So the I gets the emphasis. So that's the second vowel without the
Vaz-
accent over the A,
Vazia.
then you're gonna tend to give the accent over the emphasis over the second. All right, very nice. So let's go directly to the first question on the second verse. So Joyce, can you please give us question 16 in English?
Did the earth start out as we know it today?
Did it just start as a nice little ball of things? What does this verse imply? So that's what I'm asking. Did it start out the way we think of it?
Without form and void.
Exactly, okay? And it says the earth was without form and void. It didn't say the universe. Okay, so
Oh,
the,
really?
yeah, so the earth is, I don't know, it's hard to explain these verses, but it's very interesting. So let's think together. So Johan, can you please read question 17 in English?
What was missing?
Light.
Absolutely, you got one immediately. Okay, so it was dark, so there's no light. And what was the other thing that's missing? The verse said something else was missing. No form. Exactly. So no form and no light. And we'll see why that's interesting. So Camila, can you please read question 18 in English?
Deep suggests what part of the universe is in
In view.
view.
Very good. Okay, so deep suggests what part of the universe is in view. Because you see, we moved from describing the earth without form and void, and then we moved through a semicolon to darkness was upon the face of the deep. That sounds bigger, deep. And so I think we're talking the universe, but what are we talking about? A part of the universe? What do you think? I think it implies all of the universe. Okay, so the deep is everything. All right, so just to get our heads, we have no ball yet. The earth is without form. Things are looking void. And there's darkness throughout the universe. And somehow, I don't know how, there's an earth that is not this equal. It's not the same as the universe. So let's see what this implies. So Joyce, can you please read question 19 in English?
Was it God who moved upon the face of the waters?
Yes.
Yeah.
In
It
one
was
sense,
the Spirit of God.
exactly. Thank you, Joyce. So I'm getting very specific here, and the Bible is very specific. Now, yes, the Spirit of God is God, all right? It's part of the Trinity. But my question was, well, is that God who moved upon? No, the Bible said it's the Spirit of God who moved. So Johan, and then why am I making that point? Johan, please give us question 20 in English.
Why is that important?
Okay, let's think together. So first of all, already we know that's not a unitary God. There's God and there's a Spirit of God. But why is it important that it's the Spirit of God that's moving upon the waters, wherever and whatever the waters are? I don't know.
It's a
Well,
good question.
okay, thank you. So God is outside the universe. Okay, so I know we know God is everywhere, but this is emphasizing in the beginning of the Bible that God is outside and he sends who? His son or his Holy Spirit to do his work inside the universe. Okay, so I'm guessing, but I think that's a good reading that we are being told already that there, and this again is because of the law of thermodynamics already said that there had to be a creator God outside the universe. So this verse is already implying God is outside the universe. He has to send the Holy Spirit to do some work inside it. Okay, so that's possible. So Camila, can you please read question 21, please?
If movement has entered the creation. What else has entered?
Very good. Okay. So if movement has entered the creation, what else has entered? Again, a tough question. So, all right. So remember, all of a sudden, you know, things were nice and calm in Genesis 1:1. We had the tri-universe, but things were nice and calm. But then, boom, in Genesis 1:2, what comes in? The Spirit of God moved. Something was moving. So what does movement imply? So if there's movement, what else? It comes with movement.
Electromagnetic waves.
Okay, and I think that's probably a better scientific explanation and truer. I'll give a simple response: energy.
Energy.
Okay, so if there's movement, energy has now entered the universe. And remember, scientists have no explanation for what energy is. They have no idea. Okay, no idea what energy is, where it came from, exactly how it works. It's like it blows their minds. But we know, or we can say that in verse Genesis 1:2, energy has now entered with the Spirit of God. So let's get a little weirder and even more scientific. So, oh, perfect. Emily, question 22, please. English.
Einstein's law of energy equals mc squared implies what else is present?
Okay, so I think you know that E stands for energy. So well, I'm not going to then say the rest of it, but what else is present? If energy just entered, what else has entered? Or
Matter and velocity.
okay, exactly right. And one of the definitions of C that I've heard of is not just velocity, but the speed of light. Okay, so think of that. So energy is correctly defined by Einstein. Remember, all good science is to reveal God's truth. All good science is to reveal the incredible works that God did. That's what all the scientists until a century or and a half ago, all scientists simply wish to reveal how God made things work. And so here we are. He's telling us, so movement, energy, and even Einstein could then give us a correct idea that energy includes the speed of light. So it sounds like light has entered. If there's movement, what else might have entered? There's another thing that Einstein was famous for. The law of, wasn't it gravity? Is that Einstein? I think so.
I think that's Newton, but then
Oh,
Einstein.
I'm so sorry. Okay, well, that's okay.
But
So,
Einstein perfected it, I think.
okay, thank you. Okay, so gravity, light and gravity entered. Wow. Okay, so now let's go to Monica. Can you please read? And I promise this is the most scientific class of the course. Okay. Okay. After this class, we're gonna like turn down the science dial, like and turn up the theology and apologetic style. Okay, so stay with us. So, so Monica, can you please read question 23?
Which all this happening, what is being formed?
Thank you. The first word is with.
With.
Yeah, I think you said which is
Ah,
a little
okay.
different. With all, so what else is being formed with all this happening? So there's like energy, there's light, there's movement. What do you think is like being formed in this? Anything that we hold precious?
Life.
Maybe like a little spherical earth. Okay, which remember is like even in our own universe is just like the head of the pencil. All right, and there's many other universes and like an unknown number of galaxies. So imagine our little blue Earth is like tiny. Okay, so I'm just putting, so remember, the way we think of the Earth, it didn't start that way, but maybe it's now starting to form as we watch. Okay, so thank you. So now, Cristiani, can you please read question 24, please, in English?
What famous theory or rationalization for evolution occurs between verse 1 and 2?
Excellent. All right, so when it's a long word like that, you take it slowly and you can separate. So rationalization. Okay, but you,
Rationalization.
all right, but you pronounced it very well. So, or rationalization for evolution. That's a lot of syllables. Okay, so we just, something occurred. A famous theory has been created and it just happened. I don't know if you saw it, but a lot of people saw something huge that happened between verse 1 and verse 2. So what's the name of this theory?
The gap theory.
Thank you. Okay. And I like to joke because that's just my nature. Okay. And this is the gap theory, and it has nothing to do with your clothing. Okay. So it's not that gap clothing all of a sudden appeared between verses 1 and 2. So now let's figure out why, what did we all miss? We somehow we were not smart enough to read a major event between verse 1 and verse 2. So, so Joyce, okay, Joyce, can you read question 25, please?
Why do liberal theologians and the Catholic Church feel it necessary?
Okay, so why do they feel it necessary to create the gap theory? And maybe can anyone explain roughly what the gap theory is?
They think that there's like millions of years between the verses.
Exactly
Between
right.
verse 2 and 3.
Yeah, even billions of years now. So they think billions of years. And so the gap theory was created to fit billions of years into the creation account. Okay, so, and why did they do that? Because evolution requires a vast period to work. It's all a lie, but they needed, in order to say, oh, no, the Bible and evolution can go together. So they created, one explanation is the gap theory, billions of years between verse 1 and verse 2. So Johan, can you please read, and we're almost finished, aren't we? Yeah, almost finished. Can you please read question 26?
With the vast amount of time between verse 1 and 2, how do we arrive at a formless earth?
Because remember, Genesis 1:2 just said, and the earth was without form. Okay. So this implies what happened. If in verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and there are billions of years, somehow, and verse 2 says the earth was without form, what happened?
Cataclysm.
Exactly. There was a massive cataclysmic event. Cataclysm. Okay. All right. So this is saying for this crazy theory to work, there's a major cataclysm. So God created the heaven and the earth, and then God destroyed it in a major cataclysm. I don't know why. And that lasted for billions and billions of years. And then he said, okay, I messed up the first time. Now I'm gonna give form to the earth. Okay, maybe that's not what really happened. And then Camila, you have the last question tonight. Question 27, please, in English.
That a actual history event better explain the geological and fossil records.
Excellent, records. You said it correctly the first time. The first word, though, I think you said that. So it's what.
What?
What, yeah.
Eu troco.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so what do you think? What actual historic event better explains the geological and fossil records? Genesis 6, perhaps?
Noah's flood.
Say it?
Noah's flood.
There you go, okay. The Bible gives a much better explanation for a cataclysmic event, when it happened, how it happened, and why it happened. So the gap theory is the Catholic Church, liberal theologians attempt to explain why there are billions of dead bodies, of fossils in the earth. All right, because it doesn't make sense. There had to be they don't want to admit Noah's flood, so they create one between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. So thank you all for your wonderful patience in going over a lot of science this evening. But I use this because people say the Bible is wrong, unscientific, that the science is replacing the Bible because science is true and the Bible is false. Completely wrong. Okay. The Bible is the most accurate and true book ever written, and it doesn't give us all the right scientific terms, but it gives us many scientific concepts and has been proved again and again and again by scientific law and by evidence. So don't stand down when some scientist or liberal whomever tells you, oh, the Bible is full of false science. Wrong. Worldly science is full of false science. Okay, so thank you all so much. So we less than an hour. We try to stay on time. Any questions or comments before I stop the recording?
I have a quick comment. I think it's there's an interesting topic about fine tuning, and I think it's a very good argument in support of creation and the biblical account that we can study. There's a lot of resources online to study this. In Genesis history, there's a YouTube channel. I think you may know it, Ben, and it's very good. I think they talk about this as well.
Okay.
Because of the fine tuning of the universe, like all constants that we have in physics have a number of significant figures, like after the coma, and that's it's impossible if you do the math to be just a coincidence. So I think it's a very good argument.
Well, good. And who's fine tuning? So you're saying, is it God fine tuning, or do scientists say science is fine tuning?
I think secular scientists try to do an outside explanation, but I think it's a very obvious evidence that God exists.
I couldn't agree more. And remember, there's something called intelligent design. And unfortunately, so this is for dummies, all right, who don't want to believe in God. You can say, no, it's called intelligent design. And it's a very simple idea that if something is incredibly well designed, there has to be a designer. And it's not by chance. And so, yeah, you know, a car was designed by an engineer. A car did not just all through billions of years of mistakes and chance come together and form a car. There had to be a designer. And the same thing with the universe. It is so complex. Even one human body is so complex that it needs an incredibly complex designer. It can't be chance. So the idea that chance could create this level of complexity is absurd. And we won't get into it, but there's also, I think it's called information theory. And that you can't go from something that, can't go from bigger and, less information will create more information. No, it's something that already has the information anyway. I won't get into it. So thank you. The Bible is absolutely true, and Genesis is actual history. And don't let anyone tell you that it is not. Okay, so you can believe every single word in your Bible, including Genesis, including the book of Revelation. So hang in there. We have the owner's manual, and we're going to have a lot of fun reading our owner's manual. So I'm going to stop. God bless you for watching, and I'll just stop the recording if this opens.